Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and this week's book of the week is The Joy of Keeping a Root Cellar. Canning, Freezing, Drying, Smoking, and Preserving the Harvest, 2nd edition, by Jennifer Megyesi. My apologies if I have butchered that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Photography by Geoff Hansen. Sorry again, I'm not great with names. My apologies. So this was interesting. Read the book front to back, like I do with all my books. At least on this kind of situation. My romantic novels and all that stuff I don't do much on. But this is obviously a root cellar. But most people nowadays are in a suburban or urban environment and don't have that kind of room or area to do a root cellar. However, this will talk about other ways of preserving food. Even if you're using like a closet. So here we go. Learn to keep fresh grown fruits, vegetables fresh and tasty all year long. So it'll talk about the award-winning team, The Joy of Keeping Chickens, returns this time with a complete guide to building and maintaining a root cellar, even if it's a dark and cold closet or cool closet. This cheap, easy, energy-saving method will keep the harvest fresh all year long. Here, readers will learn which fruits and vegetables store best, how to build a root cellar in the country, suburbs, or city, how to deal with specific environmental challenges, storage techniques ranging from canning to pickling and smoking to drying, and recipes from everything from tomato sauce to venison jerky. So if you are against eating meat, you may not like this book, but it does talk about fruits and vegetables and herbs and other items that you can keep long term. All right. So it literally says root cellaring isn't just for off the grid types or farmers with large gardens. Storing food makes good sense, both financially and environmentally. And root cellars can easily fit anywhere. And this intelligent, convincing book, the author, I'm not going to try to butcher the name again, shows how to make them a part of every reader's life. So this actually was really interesting. So, I don't do any kind of canning here. I don't have a pressure pot to do canning. I mean, you could do it in boiling water too. I don't have the equipment for canning. I don't have the bottles for canning, the mason jars. So that would be difficult, but I do have onions and potatoes and such in totes in the garage that stay for a pretty long time because they're out of sunlight and it's relatively cool there. So let's take a look inside, shall we? Mm-hmm. And if you're one of those people that like pictures, there's lots of pictures. Okay, so this was done in, original edition was 2010, the new edition was 2016. Here is one of those things I like about these kind of books. For Grandpa, for his stories of the railroad and walking with my sister and me to get Cokes in real glass bottles for 30 cents at the corner drugstore. For Grandma, who let me crawl into bed with her when I was a child and comforted me back to sleep. For Grandpapa, who had no patience with my questions and only wanted me to figure out for myself the importance of self-sustenance. Sorry. And to my Grandmama, who gave the courage to follow my dreams, while only memories of them remain. Tucked away in the past as a child, my grandparents taught me their decisions are important enough to be carried out and kept alive in the present. I like how this author writes. So we have a whole bunch of contents in here. I think the book is 200 some odd pages. 263 pages, not counting the index. So there's a lot in here. So we got storing and preserving fruits, herbs, and vegetables in part 1. Fruits, vegetable, herbs, harvesting and preparation, cellaring, food for storage, drying fruits, canning fruits, pickling, fermentation, so you can make beer or wine. Freezing fruits and vegetables. This is actually freezing fruits and vegetables. Most people do that already and don't even know it's considered food storage. Preserving meat and poultry. Raising animals with food preservation in mind, so the people that are vegan may not want to read that section. Same thing with preserving meat. Preserving dairy products and eggs, state resources, reference, glossary, and index. So, and look at the page difference too. It goes from 7 to 59. So, it's a good amount of information in here. There's quite a few that are huge gaps. Some that are not, like this one, 201 to 215. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. Let's see. This is the preface. Joys of keeping a root cellar. Sorry for the lighting. I am doing something about that. I'm actually waiting for Prime Day to pick up some kind of other lighting, whether it be a softbox or a ring light. I haven't figured that out yet. I'll wait to see what's on sale. So we've got an introduction. Storing fruits and vegetables. I think it's a rutabaga. It doesn't tell me. I think that's a rutabaga. So fruits, vegetables, herbs, harvesting and preparation. They have preservation method key, and that's listed on everything in here. You may want to write it down elsewhere or pause this if you do have the book. A for alcohol, C for canned, D for dry, D for fermented and pickled. Sorry, I would have turned those ones around personally. LF for freeze, F for juice, J for oil, O for salt, S for smoke, SM for sugar preserves, P for root cellar. Actually, I think I got it backwards. So never mind. So that's a bit of a problem there, but oh well. See, I'm still struggling with it, but it tells you by those letters how you can do with that, however you want to preserve them. So you got artichokes, Jerusalem artichokes, asparagus, dried beans, which I just picked a whole bunch of beans in our backyard yesterday, about 5 or 6 pounds of them, or the day before. And I still have another probably 30 pounds to pick. We got basil in the backyard too. So you have all these different ways that you can get this in a better position. And can I fix the lighting? Well, it's slightly better. It's less glare. So they show you how you can store all these different kinds of foods, and it's pretty well arranged. There's a couple in here I've never heard of, like orich, also known as mountain spinach. Never heard of it before, so I'm gonna have to look into that one. Peas like English snap and snow, things you could do with winter squash when they've gone bad. Peppers, pomegranates, raspberries. The whole beginning page is just about everything on how to store them. They also talk in here. This goes on for just those 2 pages. Average seed required and yield produced. So say if you pick up, in my case I have bush beans in the back. You could put about 160 seeds per 20-foot row, or 400 per 50-foot row. That would produce about 16 pounds for a 20-foot row, or 40 pounds for a 50-foot row. We have 30. We have about 30 seeds planted, and we're not at 16 pounds yet, but there's still a lot in there. Plus we have one pole bean, which was in the mix. So I have it's actually in one of the videos I just posted the other day, looking at our garden there, where the pole bean vine is like 12 feet up and 8 feet across the little lattice I put up there, and it's wrapped around the tree. So I've never worked with pole beans before, so that was new for me. They talk about cellaring for food storage. Do you need a permit to build a root storage? Usually not. How to make like greenhouses. Some people have like an old bathroom. So like a rod stuck into an old bathroom vent controls the airflow to the cold spaces in Mary Kay Maxwell's garage, keeping the room at about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Maxwell stores vegetables from her garden in this space. This one here is a bathroom. So if you had the extra room, you can store all sorts of things. And this is mostly for yearly, short-term, long-term, and yearly storage, depending on how you prepare it. How to hang foods, which foods need to be dried. Storing canned goods. Tools you need for canning vegetables. This is like I don't remember what the name of this is. It's kind of like a mortar and pestle, but with a fine mesh on the inside. So you can like mash the product through the holes to strain it out into a jar. These are for opening up jar lids, funnel for adding stuff to a jar, and these are to actually lift the jars up out of, say, like a hot bath or boiling water that helps seal it. This one I'm not sure on. I don't think I've ever seen that one, so I'm gonna have to look back into that one. I read this book like a year ago. See, they talk about hot water bath versus pressure canning. Most people should do hot water bath initially if you were going to can a lot of cans, and I mean a lot of mason jars. And then you may want to go with a pressure canning method. Pressure canning is much more expensive. The initial cost of the pressure canner is more expensive, but it is better at destroying lethal bacteria like botulism. But you can do it both ways. There's some instructions in here about canning at higher altitudes. So if you're in the mountains, there you go. Safe canning practices, how much headspace you need. Headspace is a certain amount of room left between the top of the contents and the lid so the food can heat up properly and swell and move around without exploding. What I mean by exploding is without the mason jar exploding and putting shrapnel everywhere or blowing the top of the lid off, because that's possible as well. So there's information about that in here. How you can can miscellaneous foods, like canning tomatoes. They tell you there's a downside of canning tomatoes, whole or halved, is the fact that the jars take more room than processed sauce or ketchup does. So you may want to make it into something that's processed down. They talk about pickling and fermentation. Equipment you would need for freezing, whether you're using an electric freezer or a home-built freezer. They talk about how long things can stay. There's a couple pages on this, like fruits here. We'll look at gooseberries, 1.5 pints. Fresh is about 1 pound frozen. Frozen lifespan is about 6 months. Whole or unwashed for dry pack, and they give you much more information on that. So there's a lot of really good information. This is vegetables instead of fruits. More vegetables. This is for animal raising preservation. I know that a lot of people don't like this information, so I'm not going to go through it. If you're interested in anything that's beef, pork, lamb, goat, turkey, chicken, duck, goose is what's listed in here. I would recommend looking in the book for it. Check your local library. Books A Million, there's a link in the description, and there should be one for Amazon as well. But I always recommend check your local library first. If they don't have it, they can usually get it. So this way you won't have to spend the money on it. But they show you pickling eggs, state resources, so if you need to talk to somebody, get more information, like Alabama Cooperative Extension System, there's a phone number and there's an EDU. There's all that good stuff here. South Carolina for Clemson University. You know, there's a whole lot of good information in here. And I'm staying out of the animal stuff because it bothers some people. I actually have some friends that it bothers, so I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. So this is the joy of keeping a root cellar. It's really just a food storage. It's all about food storage more than just freeze drying things. You can freeze dry, of course, but they talk much more in depth about canning and fermentation and pickling than most other books. I don't think I have any other books that have that much information. I might have one. That'll be another one because I'm still in the process of reading it. But so this is the joy of keeping a root cellar. If you like this video, please press like. It helps so I know what people actually do like. If they don't like it, don't click like. You know, simple as that. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And I'll be coming out with more books every week. For now, I think maybe in August I'll do it every 2 weeks, just because I have a lot of family events going on in August, and I may take the weekends off coming up soon, just because it is summer, and so I can take care of my parents and friends and family as needed. So that is it. Thank you for watching. Of course, I said like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below in the comment section, and I will answer them pretty quickly. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.